Red Pill Radio, this is Chiara Nicoletti from the 42nd Torino Film Festival. I'm honored to be joined by Matthew Broderick, who's here to present The Freshman by Andrew Bergman with Marlon Brando and to receive the Stella della Mole. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I have to say that while I was watching The Freshman again, because of tonight where you're presenting it, I felt that Marlon Brando was really gambling on his career in a way because he put himself out there and, reprising this very iconic role that he made. Did you
Yes.
have this feeling that he was actually taking a risk, or was it his approach?
Well, I suppose so. I think he enjoyed being able to have fun with the Godfather, and maybe he felt he was taking a risk with his career. But he was also a big fan of Andy Bergman, who wrote and directed it, who had done The In-Laws, which Marlon Brando thought was his favorite comedy. He always said that's the best comedy I saw. So I hope that was a lot of why he wanted to be in it. He wanted to work with Andy, and once we were shooting, he took it very much seriously, like any other actor. We talk about the scenes and rehearse them. We had a week or two of rehearsal before we started, maybe 1 week before we started shooting, even in a hotel room where Marlon Brando and me and Bruno Kirby, another actor, we would all sit around a table and read through everything. I remember Marlon didn't like to rehearse too much because he said he liked it to be fresh and new on film. He was I can't say I got to know him all that well. He's a pretty private person, but he was nothing but kind and involved, and he laughed a lot. He enjoyed other actors a lot. He might sometimes be difficult with a producer or something about the time, what hours he was there or something, but that never translated to anything but professional kindness with other actors always.
Talking about your career, I was watching this interview you gave, and while you were talking about your first experience working with Jason Robards and the fact that he taught you a lot.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, are you trying to give young actors that are working with you as a lesson? What are you trying to teach them in a way?
Yeah. Well, Jason Robards, the very first movie I did was with him, and which was very lucky. And he taught me really just mostly by watching him. I admired him so much, and he was so at ease and comfortable in his skin. And I just thought of him as the perfect example of a great actor, of what you could hope to maybe get somewhere near him. That would be a good career. And he also was very much made me feel, even though it was my very first movie, I was 20 years old, and he always invited me to lunch, sometimes just with him, or anytime there was a group of big stars saying we're going to have dinner Friday, he'd say, "Oh, and Matthew, we'll bring Matthew too." He always wanted me to feel like I was part of it. And I remember that so well, and I do try when I work with young people now to make them feel, I think the most important thing is to make them feel not like they're outside, but to bring them in and say, you're as much part of this as I am. I'll teach you and you teach me. Because you have to try to learn from young people who know movies and plays, they change all the time. So if you don't listen to your young co-star and start to try to learn from them, you'll just turn into a relic, so it's a two-way thing. I like to welcome youngsters, and I like to learn from them.
Well, last thing, I couldn't choose between all the films I loved from your filmography, so I have to pick one. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So I wanted to ask if you could share with me one memory about shooting with John Hughes.
Boy, there are so many. Well, he was the most fun part with him, in a way, for me, was at the end of shooting is when we shot all the stuff when I'm at home alone, the beginning of the film and I guess the end of the film. When Ferris is just talking to the camera and taking a shower and getting dressed, because those scenes were just me and John, and he would just make up things right while we were shooting, or I would make something up, and there was nobody else, no other actors to worry about, so we just did whatever we felt like, and that was an amazing experience.
Thank you so much, Matthew Broderick. Congratulations on the Stella della Mole.
Thank you.
And see you tonight for the Freshman.
Okay.
Here at the 42nd Torino Film Festival. And this is Chiara Nicoletti for Fred, the Festival Insider.